Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan.
Drip, snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. Good stuff there. Yesterday, a chill day, full day of gameplay streaming. Today, completely different style of day, that's for sure, with the continuation of Baldur's Gate 3 here on the first stream. Last time around when we played on Monday, we made some really interesting progress exploring all the environments around the major settlement we had arrived at, and finding some optional fights that were quite challenging, doing some exploring and looting and stuff that was really fun. And today we're going to continue to head northward. Yeah, north from where we were and exploring further. A lot of people are yelling at me now. This is funny. A lot of people are yelling at me saying, you got to do a long rest. Why didn't you do a long rest? Don't be afraid to do a long rest. And I'm like, well, because when I was playing, people were telling me that long rests are dependent on having enough resources to do those long rests. And that's based on like how much food and stuff you find, which I found a decent amount of, but I wouldn't say I found too much. So for me, I want to be apprehensive about doing these long rests. I don't want to just constantly be doing them, and next thing you know, I blew through all my resources, and then later when I actually need one, I can't do one. Now, admittedly, I think it's time for a long rest because I have like no spells left. Like all my good spells I haven't had in a while, right? I didn't even have my best area of effect spell. I didn't have for the Harpy fight, which is what I really would have used to destroy them. If I had it, I would have blown through it, right? So I think, you know, that's the first thing we should probably do is probably let's do a long rest and then continue north and see what else we've got up there and get to other plot points. Again, as long as you guys show up and you engage with me during this playthrough, you help me out to understand the lore, to understand the gameplay mechanics that I'm not getting, to make this an interactive and fun experience rather than a game I'm trying to play for myself and not getting. Again, instead of it being like Dark Souls 1, my first run, where I didn't get the game, I got frustrated and I quit it, I'd much rather have it be a fun, interactive experience with all of you. Now, I have an update, and I have something to say about this. I talked about it very briefly in last night's Daily Wrap, but in case you missed it, I'm having a pretty good laugh right now, all right? Admittedly, and here's why, okay? For those who don't know, I have a group of people on this internet who hate my guts because they're morons. It's not because they have valid reasons to not like me. It's because they just listen to people who like to crap on me because they get personal gain out of it, whether they make content or they do streaming, whatever it is. So being toxic on the internet is very profitable and popular today. It's also very harmful and very messed up that you would do it, but these people just decide to do it because they're incredibly greedy and immoral and scumbags, okay? It's the easy way to be popular on the internet instead of actually having to do something of worth or quality and work hard. Instead, you take the easy way out and you just crap on people, okay? So these people are upset right now. And let me tell you why they're upset. It's pretty funny, all right? So as you guys know, when Baldur's Gate 3 came out in August, I did not play it. I told you guys I didn't think it was going to fit into my streaming format. At that point, with all the new releases that were going to be coming out over the fall, I didn't feel like a game like this made any sense to play at that point. But I told you guys that maybe eventually when it was ported to console, which it was in September, I would look into it. And all over the course of September, October, November, everyone's saying, are you going to play Baldur's Gate? Are you going to play Baldur's Gate? Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate. And every time you guys asked, I said, guys, can't do it yet. We don't have time. If we started it now, no one would be satisfied. Because we've got so many other games going on that we got to finish first. We know that Baldur's Gate is a 100+ hour experience. It doesn't make sense to jump into Baldur's Gate now. You guys won't be satisfied if I play it once or twice a week. You want to see a good amount of progress every week. We got to stay in the lore of this universe. We got to stay engaged, right? So let's wait till it makes sense, and then we'll talk about, you know, when we're going to do it. Okay, great. And that's exactly what we've done. Now, what ended up happening was, of course, hype keeps building. The game gets nominated for Game of the Year and a million other awards. The game wins Game of the Year and a million other awards at the Game Awards. So the hype goes sky high. And it just so happens that during this time period, I finish a ton of other games. And we're to the point now where there are no other major new releases this year except for Avatar. And so we're sitting here trying to determine what we're going to do. Should I play Avatar? Should I not? What should I do? and we come to the conclusion people want to see Baldur's Gate 3 no matter what. So people start nominating this game in droves for the Christmas marathon. And I'm like, oh, how is Baldur's Gate 3 going to work for a Christmas marathon when potentially I'm only going to be playing it for like an hour? We probably won't even get out of the character creator, right? So like, man, this is not going to work. So finally, all things considered, we're all talking about this. We say, let's just play it. Now makes sense because we can play it for about a month before big new releases start coming out in January, and we can get a big chunk into the game. You know, if I'm playing it roughly 9 hours a week, we could get potentially 40 plus hours into this game before it kind of has to go on a little bit of a back burner for me to play other hot new releases, okay? So that's how we've been approaching it, and so far we're 12 hours in, really enjoying the game, playing it 3 more today, 9 more hours next week, even with my holiday marathon on Saturday, and the Christmas Eve special on Sunday, and no streaming on Monday, I'm still playing Baldur's Gate 3 times next week because you guys like it so much and because I'm really enjoying this experience we're having together, okay? So, what is the point, says King Be Cruel? Well, if you had some patience, King Be Cruel, maybe you would learn. Maybe if you could be quiet for a second so I could finish my story. Instead of whining in the chat, if you could be quiet for a moment and listen to me speak on my podcast, you would understand where I'm going with this, okay? So, I'm being silly. I'm just joking. Don't take it seriously. Okay. So, why I'm bringing all this up is because recently I started to notice a lot of people are getting bothered by the fact that I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 and I'm enjoying it with my audience and we're having a good time and the playthrough is not a train wreck disaster. Yes, people are genuinely upset that I'm having a good time with this game and it's doing well. They don't like that. I'm getting comments on videos. I'm getting emails about it. Oh, how dare you play Baldur's Gate 3 and have a good time with your audience. So now, of course, it becomes, oh, your audience just handholds you every single possible moment, right? It's like, well, if you watch the playthrough, you'd see I've never played D&D before of any kind. I've never played this style of game. It makes sense to have that level of engagement with the audience. That's what's making the playthrough good. You guys get to see my genuine first-time reactions to this game that I don't really understand, and I get to be immersed in lore and gameplay elements and a new atmosphere that I've never seen before. It works both directions, right? Again, if I were just sitting here playing the game for myself, I would not be enjoying it. I want you to understand that. It is this interaction that we're having that is the reason why this playthrough is so good right now. And as long as we keep that going, this playthrough will be a lengthy, enjoyable, awesome game. But if people get bored, or if I get bored and we get disengaged with the game or each other, yeah, that's when it's going to kind of fall apart. And that's happened with other game playthroughs before. But let me tell you, seriously, right now, these people are really upset. There are, like I said, they just can't take the fact that something that I'm doing is going well. At any moment in my life, if something goes well, they hate it. When I come to my stream and I say, wow, I had a great morning, oh my God, they get really upset. As petty as that is, as weird as that is, that's how some people are on this planet. There's people who literally only live to see others suffer. And when that suffering stops, or if it's going the other way, they can't stand it. And that's what's happening right now with this playthrough. Like, some of these people are so dumb, they don't realize that, like, when they come on the playthrough and they try to, like, leave insanely negative comments about that, no one's going to see them. Right? They're that dumb. They'll come and write, like, a giant paragraph on part 1 of Baldur. This playthrough will suck because Phil will just have his hand held the entire playthrough. He's not playing the game for himself, and he's only playing it because he's making money. And it's absolutely hilarious. It couldn't be any less true if you just watch the playthrough. You would totally see what they're saying is false, but they want to try to shit on your Wheaties. You get it? Like, that's what it is. They want to ruin a good experience that others are having. There's so many people that are sad little miserable balls of hate on the internet that they can't get away from themselves being like that and trying to just dump on everything. And I think a lot of people were actually anticipating that this playthrough was going to suck. They thought that I was not going to like it. I was going to suck at it. you guys were going to hate me playing it because you would think that I wasn't going to get it and that it was going to be like me beating my head against the wall and everyone just being frustrated. Like, oh, but it hasn't been like that, right? Yes, I am trying to learn. And yes, it's tough. Admittedly, again, say it again, we're 12 hours in. I still feel like every time I play this game, I'm getting an education. Every time you're teaching me new things about the game I don't understand. It's very complex. There's lots of levels here to understand of gameplay elements, of lore, and all this stuff. So it is tough. It's like I'm absorbing so much information every single time that we play Baldur's Gate 3. But because it's a successful, fun, engaged experience with the audience, that's why it's working, and that's why it's been such a great experience, right? And people can't stand that. They think, they literally want to believe that me, Phil Burnell, DSP of 2023, is the same as DSP of 2011. The guy who literally couldn't play Dark Souls, raged, walk off cliffs, got to Blighttown, and rage quit the game. They want to believe that because that pushes their toxic narrative and continues with their negative memes and shit on the internet, but it's completely false. There's nothing to justify what they're saying, but they say it anyway, and they're upset when something actually comes out as concrete evidence that what they're saying is wrong. So every moment that this playthrough exists, succeeds, is positive, and we're having a great time together with it, they're upset. Now, I can't fix that. You know what I mean? Like, I can't fix these broken people. I wish I could. I wish there was some magic word I could say to make them all feel better about life so that they would not feel miserable now because the Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough is a good success right now. Like, I wish there was something I could do to make these people feel better about their own lives so they would stop caring so much about mine. But sadly, I don't know how to do that. I can't really reach out to every single one of these thousands of miserable wretches and try to make their lives each better individually. I'm not a real life Santa Claus. I can't do that. Maybe if this was some kind of a Hallmark Christmas movie, I'd have some dust and I'd go on my stream, and all of a sudden their lives are, oh, their hearts grew 3 sizes and now they all feel better about the holiday season and they stop caring about my Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. But I guess there's no way I can really do that. You know what I mean? So, I just want you to understand that how appreciative I am, because for every person out there who's positive and having fun with me every day and enjoying my content and my streams, understand that there's these weird, miserable people who are just, they're always rooting against everything, right? They want everything to go wrong. They want everything to fail. They want everything to just think about that. It's the holiday season. Christmas is in less than a week, and they're sitting on my streams and on my videos typing out paragraphs of nasty comments no one will ever see to say, I don't like you and I hope everything fails for you. What kind of a person would do that? I mean, don't you feel bad? You would think, oh, don't you get upset? No, I don't get upset anymore. I used to. Back in the day, I would see that behavior and I'd be like, wow, I'm upset. I'm not upset anymore. I feel sad that there's so many people on this planet that have nothing going for them, that this is their existence. I also feel sad that they get wrapped up into this toxicity and negativity, especially this time of year. People are still telling me, and again, I don't know because I don't pay attention to it, but every day people, did you know that someone's talking about you right now on their stream negatively? Did you know that someone's doing this stream and it's all toxic stuff about you and your family members and this and that? Did you hear on this podcast they did it? No. I don't care. It's the holiday season. I'm here to make fun gameplay with you guys and be positive. Can you imagine being a toxic, negative person Christmas week? I can't, but that's these people. This is their whole life and existence. They claim it's lolcowing is milking people. You're not milking me. You're milking miserable people on the internet. You're creating more misery, a cycle of misery for personal gain. Anyone who makes that kind of content should be fucking ashamed, demonetized, and in my opinion, banned from YouTube. They shouldn't exist. That's the worst kind of content, especially for this kind of year. And these people are all focused on it. That's what I mean. Why the hell would anyone be like that this time of year? That's insanity. That's absolute nuttiness to think that that's something you should be doing Christmas week. But that's the reality of life right now on Earth, is that you have how many hundreds, if not millions, hundreds of thousands to millions of people on this planet that are just plain miserable. And no one cares about them. And they just leave them. What happens is people abuse them. People are making this kind of predatory content to hone in and sucker those people into feeling good about misery. That should never happen. You should never feel good about misery ever in your life. You know, that's why it's called misery, because it's supposed to make people miserable, not happy. If you think that someone being miserable makes you happy, you need to go seek some kind of mental readjustment with a professional or a counselor. You really should. You shouldn't be sitting on the internet dwelling in misery at Christmas week. That's really messed up. People sitting here, man, I just can't wait for the Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough to go sour. What the hell is wrong with you? You're nuts. You need help. Really, you should actively stop whatever you're doing and go to see someone who can maybe help you and readjust your brain to have a better life, a productive, positive life. You shouldn't be dwelling on that stuff, you know? And it really makes me sad to know how many people there are like this, okay? So, truth is, I'm having a great time. I cannot wait for more Baldur's Gate 3 today. I know we're going to have a great stream. I hope you guys, again, will stick around. And I certainly feel that you guys will, you know, continue to enjoy the playthrough as much as I have, I hope. And, you know, again, as long as we keep up the level of engagement and consistent interaction and you helping me with the stuff I don't understand and giving me advice on things I should do. And again, that doesn't mean hand-holding every moment. That doesn't mean, oh, this is a fight. Here's exactly how to win it in 2 turns. No. I want to figure it out for myself. But if I ask questions, hey, is this spell working how I think it works? What's a good spell to pick when I level up? You know, am I missing out on anything important or essential in this area? Because I swear I searched the area, but maybe I missed a little. You know what I mean? Those are just genuine questions and things to make the gameplay experience more enjoyable rather than me just guessing for myself and flubbing it and doing things wrong and missing out on stuff. You know, I want to have a good time. I'm not going to be going back and playing Baldur's Gate 3 10 times. I'm going to play it once. So I want this one time to be a great, enjoyable experience, okay? So, thank you to those who are here, who are positive, who are having a good time. And thank you to those who are consistently supporting Baldur's Gate 3. That's very nice of you. You know, it's a lengthy RPG. And a lot of the times when I play RPGs, they don't get a lot of support. Namely, I mean, take a look at Like a Dragon that we're playing right now. There's some nights where there's like none. And that's okay because it balances out with everything else. But it's nice to know that there's enough of an audience for this game and people who want me to experience a real D&D experience that you will support it. I really appreciate that. All right, so thank you so very much for that. Really looking forward to today's stream. Okay?
I got the drip going. 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 I got the drip going.
It's like a faucet that's dripping. Can't make it stop.
So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean, these dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.